The Dalai Lama's compound is tucked away in the Himalayan foothills of northern India, a sacred place to millions of Buddhists around the world. This is where he's lived for most of his life. To believers, he's the reincarnated spirit of Buddha, and to almost everyone else in the world, he's a Nobel Peace Prize winner, a celebrity, and an advocate for peace.
He is our God, I would say.
He is the living Buddha.
Of course, yes.
But not everyone is a fan. Unlike most of the world, China has long hated the Dalai Lama.
Your Holiness.
When I sat down with him, he had this to say about the Chinese government.
China labels you as some sort of villain.
Some Chinese, you see, even described me as a demon.
A demon? How do you react when you hear that you're an evil demon?
It is funny. Then I respond, yes, I'm demon, with horn. Like
Their
that.
Dalai Lama is...
Oh yes, like that.
It all boils down to this region, Tibet, an area roughly a quarter the size of China that is also rich in natural resources and valuable militarily.
It's a vast area of land, a couple of times the size of Texas, that's been fought over for centuries. It's important to stability and security in the whole of the South Asia, East Asia region.
The Chinese government took over the land in 1950, claiming they would help Tibetans out of poverty and bring necessary social change. With training from the CIA, some Tibetans rebelled against the Chinese, but they failed. By 1959, thousands of Tibetans, including the Dalai Lama, fled to India as refugees, where they set up a government with the Dalai Lama as their leader.
A few 100,000 Tibetans, including many monks, scholars, killed. And meanwhile, brainwashed through education. Our human brain have the ability to develop common sense. Some of these hardliners, the Chinese, that part of brain missing.
With his millions of followers around the world, the Dalai Lama has immense influence.
Time come, we need to think about global well-being.
And is openly critical toward the Chinese government, which sees Tibet as a key to their power and the Dalai Lama as the main obstacle in their way. To this day, Tibetans aren't allowed to practice their religion or speak out against the government. Most can't leave, and little information gets in or out. For journalists, it's almost impossible to visit.
There is camera, there are eyes watching on you 24/7. You can't do whatever you want. Everything would be tracked down by Chinese government.
Even little things like having a photo of the Dalai Lama are illegal in Tibet.
I think out of there, a certain sort of narrow-minded political thinking.
It's political spin.
And out of fear.
They're scared of you.
Huh?
The human rights situation is so dire that more than 100 Tibetan monks have self-immolated in recent years. But now that China has one of the largest economies in the world, they've doubled down, refusing to leave or even acknowledge human rights issues. They've even gone as far as choosing their own successor to the Dalai Lama, which would all but ensure their control of the region and make this Dalai Lama the last.
Politically, we are not seeking independence. We are not seeking separation. And remain within the peoples of China. It is our own interest, provided they must respect our culture, our language, and our ancient knowledge.
Will there be another true Dalai Lama?
That, I don't know whether the very institution of Dalai Lama should continue or not up to Tibetan people. They will decide. Many incarnated Lama eventually disgrace. So better none, I think.
The Dalai Lama's willingness to change could upend centuries of tradition, but may be the only way to save Tibetan Buddhism before it's gone forever.
So if you had a choice, you wouldn't reincarnate?
This is not my choice.
No.
I may, you say, after my death, I may receive some instruction from some higher being. Then I have no freedom. According to their instruction, I have to go.
You'll follow those orders.
As we wrapped up our time, I had one lighter question to ask.
You have more than 13 million followers on Twitter. You have more than 800,000 followers on Instagram. But do you have something called Snapchat? It's how a lot of young people communicate now, and it's through video. It's pretty cool. I think you'll like it.
And there I was, phone in hand, teaching one of the most influential leaders in the world and a man who has never used a computer how to Snapchat. Tom Hansen, Channel 1 News.
I'm very happy this old person have the opportunity to share millions of young, bright sort of people. Thank you.
That was great.